Hello, gosh, it's been a little while since I've uploaded a video, so sorry about that. I've been doing commission work and obviously life gets in the way, so but I'm finally going to upload a video. So hopefully you can see I've got my 5 chickens lined up here. I've already done these 3. I've never actually drawn chickens before, so what I thought I would do is do the first 3 and see how it went, and then I would record these 2 little guys here. Just wanted to make sure I got a good that they were going to go okay and had the right colours, blah blah blah, and before I shared it. So yeah, I think these 3 have gone quite well. I haven't gone major with the details, I just wanted to have some fun, and I'm quite happy with them. It's been good fun actually. So I got the reference photo from Pixabay, so it's a free image, and it's this is under the light, so I've got the brush out. You can see little specks of pencil dust. So yeah, anyway, this is on a Pixabay site, so it's a free image to use. I can send the link if anyone wants to do it, and also if you want the line drawing, I'll be more than happy to share that as well. And you can either message me on my socials or just give me an email and I'll send you the line drawing. And as always, it's underneath, it's taped with masking tape because I've had to use 2 pieces, but that's fine. So yeah, I think that's all really. So today I'm going to start with these 2 and record the process, and yeah, I've been using Polychromes and Pablo pencils mainly, and I've used a bit of luminance here and there, but not too much. But I do try and keep the colours down if I'm doing a draw along, and I think that's all I need to mention. And yeah, let's get drawing. So I'm starting off with the beige red, and I'm just going to do the outer part of the eye. Now we're working on a very small scale as well, so this is another reason why I haven't gone super mad with the details. So I've just run that around the outside like that. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to go with the dark sepia now. So again, Polychromes, I've got the dark sepia here, and I'm just going to do a line just so we can see where we're at. So it's so small. I think this is the smallest out of them all. So you're not going to get a lot of detail in there. I'm going to get the brown ochre now. There you are. So I've got the brown ochre, and I'm just going to fill in the whole gap. Okay, and then I'm going to do the pupil with the black. Actually, I'm going to need to sharpen that. Okay. So yeah, just going to get this pupil in. I think that's pretty much all we can do for that. As I say, we haven't got a lot of space there anyway to get detail in. So right, I'm going to get the, now this is a funny colour, I do not know how to pronounce it, but it's pompeian red. I don't know, totally wrong. It's the 191 in the Polychromes, and I've used this colour a lot around this area. So yeah, this is a good colour. So I'm going to use this around the beige red, just where we need to, not all the way around, but just so we've got a little border around there. And I think that's all that really needs. I might get the dark sepia actually and just go round the eye a bit more. And I'd say that that's basically it. So now I'm going to go with the warm grey one. Okay, so I've got the warm grey one here. I'm just going to cover all this area. So I'm just using this as a light, but first base basically. Right, so yeah, that's it there. Let's just take it to the back of his head there as well. Okay, right, let's get a bit of colour in. So I'm going to go back to that red again, the 191. I'm not even going to insult the pencil and try and name that again. I've got no idea how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. So yeah, this is the 191. Okay, so I'm just constantly looking at my reference photo because we've got quite a few little bits going on here. Got the edge of the beak. I'm just using circular motions around here because it's such a small area. We've not really got any directions of feathers or anything here, so I'm just going round and round. I'm using quite light pressure as well. Right, so it's got like a lid here. Okay, I do need a lighter colour. I might go back to the beige red. Actually, let's have another look. This one's slightly different colours to the other three, so I'm just getting new colours. Let's try the brownish orange in the Pablo range. I'm not sure about that just yet. I'm going to go back to the beige red. I'm just going over it all just to sort of combine all the colours together really, as much as you can on drafting film. Oh. Okay, I'm going to define the eye a bit more, so I'm going to go with the Caput Mortuum Violet, and just want to get this eye a bit more detailed, as much as we can anyway. Do that on the bottom as well. Okay, that's better, I think. Okay. I'm just softening that line up a little bit. Okay, I think that's helped. I'm going to come back to that now. I'm going to start working on this bit here and then come round and go from there. So let's go back to the this one, the 191, and I'm just going to fill this in. Not quite sure what this part of the chicken is called actually, if I'm honest. Right, so we've got a little, I've missed this little spiky bit off up there, so just put that in. Right, okay, so we come across there. I'm just trying to, so we've got a lot going on in this little area. So we've got a little yellow bit there. The nostril bit. Okay, I think that's all right. Let's just give that a bit more of a spike there. Bring that in a bit more there. It's the good thing with drafting film, you can just rub it out as quickly as that. It doesn't leave any marks. Okay, we'll add a bit more detail to that in a minute. I'm just getting the base layers down so we can see where we're at. I think cream next. We're going to go with the cream for the beak. Oh, let me give that a sharpen actually. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the 191 red. Just going to get this bit underneath in, which is from the other side of his face. Okay, and then let's fill this bit in. Okay, and then this bit here as well. And then, as I say, we can start adding a bit more depth. Okay, now I've got some idea of where everything is on the face area. I'm going to start doing a bit more detail now and make it look a bit more real. So this is what I found with doing the other three, actually, because I didn't want to go mad with the details. You know, I was just blocking in areas and then after going in with the details, and I've just found that that's worked quite well with this piece. Everyone obviously does it differently, and whatever works for them, but that's what I've done, and I think that works quite well. If you're working on such a small scale as well, putting in too much detail at the beginning just sort of complicates it, and it's just good to do it at a time rather than right at the beginning. So you can see already I've got a bit more depth now. I've added another colour, just giving it a bit more of a 3D effect. So I've got the Indian red here, or India red, sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that. A bit more at the back here. Okay, let's do a bit on this bit down here. So we've got the bit on the other side under the beak, which is quite dark because that's in shade. Let's get that bit in. Okay, there's a little bit here. I don't think there's much more that can be done here with those bits. And let's fill in that little nostril area. So I've got the cream back. I'm just going to get the caput mortuum violet and just go underneath, just to give it a bit more depth there. Okay, while I've got the caput mortuum violet, I'm just going to add a bit more in places. Okay, let's get a bit more detail in this beak. Okay, so let's get on with this beak. So I've got the cocoa here, or cocoa, in the Pablo range. And I'm just going to do the line down the side here. Now I am making this up because I didn't have it on the line drawing, but it's fine. Pretty much know where it is on the beak. That's okay. Now I do need to darken that beak up actually, or make it a bit more yellowy. So I went with the dark cardamom yellow on the others and it seems to have worked well. So we've got the dark cardamom yellow. I'm just going to add a bit more colour. Not all over, but just where you can see on the reference photo. I think that's pretty much it there. I am going to get my little rubber out actually. I just want to the line around his eye, it's a bit too thick. That's a lot better. That's better. It looked like he had eyeshadow on, or her, sorry. But yeah, that's improved it. Okay, let's start working down the body. So what I have been using was the brown ochre, if I can find it. So yeah, I've got the brown ochre in the luminance range. It's the only colour I can really find for this sort of colour, so I'm going to use that, but I'm going to go with the warm grey one first underneath, if I can find that. I've got 100 pencils down here. So I've got the warm grey one, and I'm just going to continue it down his neck, her neck. I think this is probably the lightest chicken out of all 5. Okay, so we're just filling the neck area. Okay, now let's go back to the brown ochre, 10%. So I'm not worrying about individual feathers. I think you would drive yourself mad, you know, if you was drawing them individually. So I'm just getting the colours down, and then we'll add a bit of detail. I am going in the direction of the way the feathers are sitting as well. Okay, I'm going to go with the dark, not the dark, the sepia 10. Where is that? So I've got the sepia 10%, and I'm going to use this just for the shading under the neck area. I haven't got a holder to make this bigger, an extender. I think they're all being used. Put a bit up here as well. Okay, I think the brown ochre would be another good one, burnt ochre rather. So I've got the burnt ochre, I'm back with the polychrome. I'm just going to add a bit more of an orangey colour now. So I'm just doing like lines really to imitate the feathers, and it seems to have worked with the others. As I keep saying, I'm not going overly with the, you know, the details, but I think it's working quite well. I think that's another thing with chickens. It's probably what's kept me away from drawing them. The feathers are so compact, they sort of all go into each other, don't they? They're not individual feathers like on other birds, and I think that's what's steered me away from drawing them. So I thought I'd throw myself in the deep end and draw 5 of them. But it's been enjoyable. I think I will do more. I'm going to get the sepia 10 back again. This is good. This is a good colour for like shading. Right, so I'm going to go with the warm grey 2 now, and I'm just going to add a bit more on his face area. I just need my rubber, I've gone over a bit too much. Oh, rubber's come out of my pencil now. just gone over the light a bit too much here. He's got like a lighter feather here on his cheek. That's it. Let's just go over that with the warm grey 1, just so it's not left. I've got the warm grey 2 here, but I don't think it's really doing much. It's not too bad. Oh, I do need to darken this area up, so I'm going to go with the warm grey 4. So I've got the warm grey 4 here. So I'm just using this in places just to darken areas up. You could use the cocoa as well. That's always a nice colour to use. It's got a bit more colour to it than the warm grey 4. Lots of pencil dust now. So I've still got the cocoa. I'm just gonna carry on adding a few more details here and there. I just want to lighten the rubber now. Get that rubber clean. Just put a few highlights around his eye as well. So I'm not taking all the pigment off, I'm literally just taking off a little bit of the pencil here and there, just to lighten areas rather than take it all off. Just give it another clean, because it's such a small rubber, it does get dirty very quickly, but they are really such a good thing to have when you're working on film. I can also use it to add a bit more detail in these areas as well, and a bit more up here. Give that a clean again. I might add a bit of a highlight at the bottom here. As I say, it's such a small scale, it's not, I don't think that's worked. I'm going to get the sepia now. Yeah, the sepia. Let's have a look. Where are you? Okay, it's in an extender, so I couldn't see it. This bit under his beak, just going to darken. You can use the black, but I've got the dark sepia here. That works okay. That's fine. Let's just add a bit here. So I think that's his little face area pretty much done. Going over his eye a bit more. Okay, so just before I move on further down the body, I'm not quite happy with the lip around his eye, so I'm going to get the rubber. I'm just going to do it again basically. It needs to be a bit thicker. It doesn't take much to correct it, as you can see. That's improved it already. I'm going to go with, let's have a look. Let's go with the India red, just to get that line in. And that looks a bit better, I think. He's got like a double one down here. Okay, I think that's okay, and then let's go back with the beige red and just fill that in. Great, that's better. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's start moving down the body. So I say he's quite light. I think what I'm going to do is go with the warm grey one. If we just do this side first, so I'm just going to cover it with the warm grey one to start with. I'm just going back and forth, just getting an even coverage. And then it gets quite dark down the side here, so I'm not going to go right to the edge. And then he's got quite a long feather sweeping over that way. Right, so I'm going to come down the side here. Now I'm going to go back to the luminance pencils, just because they've got the colours that I particularly want. So I've got the burnt ochre 10%. I was going to go with the beige red, but it's not quite deep enough. So I'm not worrying about feather details at the moment. I'm literally just putting colours in. Okay, and then I'm going to go to another luminance, and it's the Warm Earth 5%. And it's quite similar, but just darker. And then I think we'll go to the Walnut Brown, which is back to the Polychromes. I do try and stick to the same pencils because I do appreciate people haven't got all the pencils, but because I'm just used to the colours that I particularly use, yeah, I do sort of jump, and I do appreciate if it's annoying, but I think with most artists they have their core colours, and that's what they stick with. And it's just the same with me, really. I've got sets of pencils, and there's many colours that I don't use and probably should use more of. Okay, I might darken that up a little bit more. In there. We'll see how we go. Okay. Okay, so sticking with the burnt ochre 10%, I'm going to start adding some light details of where the feathers are. So we've got some very light features to put in here. So I've got no line drawing underneath, so I am basically making it up, but I'm looking at my line drawing. Something like this, less is more, isn't it? You don't want to put too much in. Then we come down here. Let's get the where are you? Warm grey 3. I just want to put this one in here just as a guide as to where we are. So that's the bottom of the feathers there. We've got a big one there. Okay, and then just one there, and then we can carry on. Okay, so I'm just going back to the burnt ochre 10%. As I say, he's a very light chicken, so it's hasn't got a lot of detail in the body part. But once you get the sides in and the feet in, he won't look so light. It's a lot darker down this side as well, so that's good. Let's get the sepia 10%. You can always revisit as well this area if need be. Put that at the side as well here. Put that lightly up the top here, his wing. What's that? Come down here a bit more. I don't think much more is needed on this side. I'm just putting the odd random detail in. There's a bit more going on in the middle, which we'll do in a minute. Let's actually let's do this side and then we'll work our way down. So let's go back to the warm grey one. There you are. So let's just do the same again. And we've got lots of little feathers coming down the middle here. So we can put a bit more colour in there. Can't stand dust on the film. It's always good to keep it clean. Right, so this one's got quite a lot going on down the middle here, so that's going to be a bit of concentration going on there, where all the feathers are meeting in the middle. So that's going to be fun. Okay, so let's go back with the burnt ochre 10% again, and put a bit more on the side here of the neck with this one. So we've got lots of little feathers coming down the middle here, which I'm just going to put in. I might darken them up a bit more. So although I'm looking at the reference photo, I'm just randomly putting them in because I didn't put on the line drawing all the individual feathers. It would have just been too complicated, and so I don't like to follow the photo exactly. I like to put my own interpretation on the pieces that I do. So okay, I think it just comes down to there and then it starts getting complicated. Over here it comes to the side. So I'm just going to randomly put this burnt ochre in places just to give it a bit of colour. I think now I've got some colour down here, I'm going to darken this colour. I'm going to put some orange in here, I think, just to give it a bit more of a lift. I think that happens sometimes. You work on one part and then the other part needs a bit more work, but that's fine, we can go back to it. Okay, and it starts getting dark down there. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work up on here again. I know I'm jumping from one bit to another, but while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put it in. So I'm going to put the burnt ochre with the polychromes. No, not that one. I'm going to go with the terracotta if I can find it. Bear with me while I try and find my terracotta. Where are you? Oh, that's annoying. Oh, I've got a very small one at the bottom of my pot. I have to do. So I've got the terracotta here. Oh, with a hair on it. That's not good. So I'm just going to add this in places just to give it a bit more oomph. And it just lifts it a bit more. It's got a little bit going off there. And it just adds to his individual character, doesn't it? And he's got some down here. I think that's helped quite a bit actually. Just gives it a bit more depth. Okay, right, let's continue down the chest area. So I think the sepia 10 next again. I'm just going to give some of these individual feathers a bit more work. It just gives you an idea of where the feathers are going. I'm not going to cover it all like this because there's not enough detail in the picture to add. I don't think it needs too much. Oh, he's got some bigger feathers down the bottom here. Let's put them in. So I'm literally just copying the reference photo. I'm not following any line art as such. I think with as recently I've been doing commissions, so I've had to copy everything exactly, obviously, because it's for another person, being a commission. But with this one I can let my hair down. I can just do what I want. I haven't got any rules to follow. So yeah, I'm just relaxing with this piece and going with the flow. a few little bits up the top here, but it's very light. Bit over this side. Okay, I'm going to get this bit in here now and then see what's needed on the chest area in a minute. So let's go back with the let's try the burnt ochre 10%. I'm just going to bring that all down the side here. Just take it down to there. Then I'm going to go with the sepia 10. Oh, sepia 10. And that's the start of the hang on, we've got, oh I see, so that's all dark there. Okay, so let's go with the walnut brown again. It starts about here. Oh. Okay, and he's got a bit of a jagged edge on this one, so I'm just gonna fan it out like so. I'll just lift my picture up a bit more. That's it. So yeah, he's got some feathers coming off the side there, so okay. Okay, he's got a lighter bit in there. Do I keep that? Okay. Bit of pencil dust there annoying me. So I've just got the walnut brown still. So I'm just filling in the side bit here. Okay, and then I'm just doing the inside here. We've got a dark line coming down. Got the lighter bit there. I'm going to go back to the warm grey 3 and I'm just going to fill that in. I don't want to make it too dark at the moment. We can come back to that in a minute. Let's go with the dark sepia. I'm just using this on the outside. And let's use that down this side as well. Okay, and that comes all the way down his leg, and then he's got a bit on the inside here. We'll add that while we've got the dark sepia. Clean that up a little bit. Okay, we can go back to the chest area now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the brown ochre 10%, and I'm just going to lightly cover all over, and then I'm going to use the rubber just to put in some white areas, and it will help just smooth everything over. I'm doing it very lightly. Okay, and I'm going to use this down the centre here where it's darker. Okay, while I think about it as well, I'm just going to use the rubber just to clean this area up a bit more. That's better. Okay. Right, let's give that rubber a clean, and then let's add some highlights here. So I'm just going to lighten up some areas. Okay, right, so let's concentrate on the middle. I'm just moving my picture up. So this is where the feathers all meet down the bottom here. So I've got the sepia 10%. I'm going to use this to darken this area up. It's not as complicated as I first thought, to be honest. Okay, I'm going back to the warm grey one, and I'm just going to cover these lower feathers up before I go any further. Also dropped my pencil, so it's a funny shape, but it'll be fine for this. Okay, so I'm thinking the cinnamon, let's see, so I've got the cinnamon here. I'm just going to darken these bits in the middle here. Just in areas. Trying to think what would be a good colour. I think the sepia 10 is a bit too light. I need something a bit more deeper. Let's go with the sepia 50. I think that's working. I'll go with the cocoa. Just in places. It's a bit too dark, but I'm going to use the rubber in a minute to do the highlights, so just want to get enough colour down. Okay, let's go with the mono rubber now. Just give it a bit of a clean. They slowly get in there. Let's go with the sepia 10.